One evening, as Choma sat alone by the river, she thought about her life. She had tried so hard to fit in, to be what everyone expected her to be. But no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't change who she was. The weight of her secret, the rejection from her family and church, was too much to bear. She thought about the stories she had heard of people who had taken their own lives. She had never understood how someone could reach that point. But now, sitting by the river, she understood. The pain was too much and she saw no way out. With tears streaming down her face, Choma made her decision. She stood up and walked into the river, the water cold against her skin. She kept walking until the water was over her head and she let herself sink into the darkness. The next morning, the village awoke to a tragic discovery. Chalmers' lifeless body was found by a group of children who had come to the river to play. The news spread quickly, and soon a crowd gathered by the water's edge, murmuring in shock and disbelief. Mama Chalma arrived, her face pale and eyes swollen from crying. She fell to her knees beside her daughter's body, wailing in grief. Papa Ikena stood behind her, her face a mask of pain and regret. He had driven his daughter away, and now she was gone forever. The church elders, including Elder Emmanuel, arrived shortly after. They looked down at Chalma's body, their expression sober. They had not expected things to end this way. Elder Emmanuel, who had been so quick to condemn her, now felt a heavy weight of guilt pressing on his heart. We must hold the service, he said quietly. We must pray for her soul and for our forgiveness. The villagers gathered in the church that evening. The atmosphere was heavy with sorrow and regret. The same people who had shown Choma now whispered about how kind and gentle she had been. It was as if her death had opened their eyes to the pain they had caused. The pastor stood at the pulpit, his voice trembling as he spoke. We are here today to mourn the loss of Choma, a young woman who was driven to despair by our actions. We must ask ourselves how we could have let this happen. How could we, as a community, have failed one of our own so completely? Dear viewer, let me ask you this question before we continue the story. Why is it that we only say good things about people after they are dead? Let me know your views in the comment section. Now let's continue. Mama Choma sobbed quietly in the front row, clutching a handkerchief. Papa Ikena sat beside her, his head bowed in shame. The villagers listened in silence, many of them wiping away tears. Elder Emmanuel stepped forward to speak. I was the one who first learned of Chilmer's secret, he admitted, his voice breaking. I thought I was doing the right thing by bringing it to the attention of the church. But I see now that I was wrong. I failed her. We all did. The pastor nodded. We must learn from this tragedy. We must become a community that supports and loves one another, no matter our differences. We must be a place of refuge, not condemnation. The service continued with prayers and hymns, the villagers singing with heavy hearts. They pray for Chioma's soul and for forgiveness for the part they had played in her pain. In the days that followed, the village began to change. The people who had once been quick to judge now sought to understand and support one another. The church, which had been a place of strict rules and harsh judgments, became a place of compassion and love. Papa Ikena and Mama Chioma struggled to come to terms with their loss. They visited Chioma's grave every day, laying flowers and praying for her forgiveness. They spoke to the pastor about their grief, seeking comfort in their faith. Elder Emmanuel, racked with guilt, dedicated himself to helping others. He counseled those who were struggling, offering understanding and support rather than condemnation. He hoped that in some way he could make up for the pain he had caused Chioma. The village slowly began to heal, but the memory of Chioma remained. She had been a bright, kind young woman who had been driven to despair by the people who should have protected her. Her death was a stark reminder of the importance of compassion and understanding, and how to show love to others no matter who they are. Avoiding people because of their beliefs or religious backgrounds is not what we have been called to do. Rather, we must learn to accept and love everybody, no matter who they may be. Years later, a new generation of children grew up in the village. They heard the story of Chioma and the lessons their elders had learned from her tragedy. They grew up in a community that valued love and support, a place where differences were accepted and embraced. Chioma's legacy lived on in the hearts of the villagers. She had shown them the importance of kindness, compassion, and understanding. And though she was gone, her spirit remained, a guiding light for a community that had learned through her loss to be better. Dear viewer, thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and help me get 1,000 subscribers. Thank you for your support. See you in the next video.